Welcome, and thank you for joining us today for a walkthrough of the different types of dashboards you can set up to see most of your real-time data and know your business better. My name is Mark Falzon and I'm JCurve's support team leader. This is a part of the system which helps my team help their customers quite a lot. Walking us through the technical setup today will be one of our technical consultants, Rosie King. We'll also have one of our senior technical consultants, Nick Williams, available to help answer further questions you may have in the Q&A section of this webinar. Please note, as we are in a group webinar, all lines have been muted for the duration, but if you have a question, please let us know by typing in the questions panel on your GoToMeeting webinar window. We can then answer them in the Q&A section at the end of this webinar. For those of you who may have only heard about or seen dashboards briefly, let's have a quick talk about what the dashboards are. Dashboards offer a consolidated visual display of a company's most important data. They're a quick way for us to see the most relevant, real-time business information at a glance. They can be a powerful tool to help quickly understand your business performances, keep your KPIs front of mind, help organize your activities, and be a reminder of pending activities. Dashboards also help to keep your business information transparent. With the right setup, they can empower everyone in the business to stay informed, motivated, and working towards the same goal on a daily basis. You can also set up different dashboards for different roles to make sure everyone sees the most relevant information as their daily drivers. So what are we covering today? We'll start off with the general introduction to dashboards. Then we'll go into detail on the different types of dashboards you can set up by business area. We'll cover getting started, choosing your role, setting up portlets, standard reports and portlets and content, the standard home dashboard, personalization and best practices, warehouse manager dashboards to see your real-time stock position, sales rep and manager dashboards to track individual and team sales performance, customer service manager dashboards for order status and support case visibility, marketing manager dashboards to see your marketing activities and lead to prospect and customer conversions, CEO and CFO dashboards for overall company performance and profitability at a glance. I'll now hand over to Rosie to give us a walkthrough of the different dashboards we've discussed.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming along to attend the dashboard webinar today. What we're going to cover today is an introduction to the JCurve dashboards. As Mark's just stated, the dashboards give you an overview of your important business information dependent on the role that you're using within your JCurve software. The outcomes that what I'd like to achieve for you today from this session is improved processes for when you log in to your JCurve software each day, better access to relevant data for each role that you hold, the ability to know your relevant pipelines every day, that's important information, easy access to reports for the role managers, improved efficiency when you're working within JCurve, and consistent user interfaces for users who work together. This gives teams, for instance, ready access to the same data. Now, as you can see from my JCurve screen here, I'm currently logged in as the administrator of this demonstration account. Over in the top right-hand side of your screen when you log into JCurve, there are a number of different roles available to you depending on your role within the business. As I said, these can be chosen from this drop-down menu on the right-hand side. Now, at the moment, I'm working in the administrator role, and that's the dashboard that you can actually see on my screen. You can add or change roles within JCurve. To do this, dependent on your business again, you may have the authority to do this yourself within JCurve, or you may have to request a new role be assigned to you from your administrator. If you are wanting to add extra roles to your business function within JCurve, the administrator and or yourself, if you have access, is just done here through the employee area. When you sign into your employee area, set up your access, and you can see here are listed all the roles that I actually have the ability to work within, and I can edit this and just add new roles. Scrolling down again. There we go. So I have the ability here to add new roles and choose from the roles that are available to me within my JCurve area. Okay, so that's how you do it. As I said, you may have the ability to do it, or you may have to request a new role be added from your administrator. So I'll just close that screen. There we go. So that's the different types of roles you can have. Now, working here on the dashboard in the role of administrator, you can see that I've got here on the right-hand side of the screen a number of different areas where I can work on my dashboard. The first is in the layout, and I'm just going to hover my mouse over the top of that so you can see it. And our layout allows us to customize the way that we look at this screen. It can either be full screen, 3 columns, or 2 columns. Now, the way that I've got my layout assigned at the moment is I've got a smaller column here on the right-hand side and then a large column across the middle of the screen. And we will come back and have a look at various ways of using these layouts throughout the presentation today. The portlets are the main things that we're going to be working with today, and these are accessible for you through the personalised menu. And when we click on that menu, it opens up the dashboard that allows us, the menu that allows us to personalise our dashboard, and all of the portlets are listed here for you. So I just wanted to work through these with you. What are portlets? For a start, portlets cover either workflow or analysis tools. Workflow portlets can include things such as reminders, your calendar, a list of tasks or phone calls you need to make, quick adds, save searches, etc. Your analysis portlets can include such information as key performance indicators within your role, KPI meters and KPI scorecards, report snapshots, trend graphs, etc. Once your portlets are set up within your roles, you can apply global date changes to all reports from the next menu along, which is here, portlet date settings. So we'll work through each of these during our presentation today. The portlets that you can see on this main administrator screen, I will come back to these later, but let's start with some of the that you may be working with within your company. So the dashboard, the home dashboard, is accessed when you go in and out of your different windows within JCurve. Always come back to this home icon here on the top left of your screen. This will bring you back to your dashboard. From within your dashboard, you can then go to various areas and other screens within the software. So we're going to start today by looking at a couple of the demo roles for the head of the company. Let's start with the CEO. So I've set up, I'm just going to click on that role. That will change me from the administrator role into the CEO role. Now, if at any time you wanted to, if you had a number of roles that you were working within and you wanted to make one of them your default role so that each time you logged into JCurve, you actually could come back to that role at all times. You just do that from this, again, this drop-down menu by viewing all roles. That will give you a list of all the roles that are assigned to you, and you can choose the one that you would like to be the default role when you log in each time. So that means that you don't have to come backwards and forwards out of different roles each day. You can, however, do it if you have a number of roles from this menu. So my default role is administrator, but just for now, I'd like to go in as the CEO. Here we go. Just another tip for you when you are going in and out of roles, if you do have a number of them, it can sometimes be beneficial if you colour code your roles. So let's say you were the sales manager, but you also wanted to have the salesperson role available. It might be a good idea for you to customise one of them in blue and one of them in red, or a different colour. What this does is it's just a mindset tool, because it allows you to look at your screen and instantly go, right, I'm in my management role, or look at your screen and go, right, I'm in my sales rep role. So just a bit of a tip for when you're working within your roles. This of course can be done for you within your preferences. I'll just really quickly go through that. So set your preferences. Go to the appearance selection here on the top left side, and you can change your colours. Okay, so that's just a bit of a tip for when you are working in multiple roles. All right, so the CEO of the business may or may not have a lot of information on their screen. If you think about this particular role, you don't want to see a lot, because you will get that from your management or executive team anyway, but he or she may want to see just the main information. So this role is set up with 2 rows, a smaller row on the left and a larger one on the right. And the portlets that we can currently see here include a calendar, a reminders, a shortcut list, sales manager information. Over in our middle column we have the KPIs that a business owner or a CEO may want to see on a daily basis, including the profit, revenue, sales, and perhaps total pipeline of what's coming up. And we've also got a graph of comparative sales data. To see or personalise this menu for the CEO, I'm just going to choose from the personalised menu, and it's telling me here that in this role the standard content available to me includes quite a lot of portlets. And as you, in all the roles that you're working in, as you scroll over each of these portlets, it does give you a brief description of what it is. So obviously calendar is fairly straightforward. You've also got search portlets and KPI meters. So if you decide that you would like to add an extra portlet to your dashboard to customize it, you simply click and drag the portlet down into the screen, and it has it there for you. Now it will choose what it believes is going to be the thing you want to see, but you've also got a drop-down list. So for instance, I can say, show me my actual sales, my revenue, my profit, etc. With any portlet that you do drag down, some of them, for instance, this one is automatically set up for you, but if not, here on the right hand side with any of your portlets, to choose setup and have the ability then to add different information within the portlet. So this one is show me profit from this fiscal quarter. You've then got the ability to compare with last quarter, etc. Okay, I'm just going to go through these fairly quickly because we've got quite a lot to cover today. So if you decide that this is not something that you then want to see on your dashboard, you can simply go back to it and say remove. One of the things that I'd really encourage you to do, particularly straight after this session, is go into your dashboard, go into your portlets and click and drag them down onto the screen and see what you have the ability to do with them. There's just no way that we could cover them all in this session that we've got today, but do not hesitate to drag them in, have a look at them, set them up the way you want them to go, and if you find that that's not the way you actually want to see your dashboard, you can remove them again and you can change them around. So the standard content for the CEO role is all listed here. Over here on the right hand side you've got more that you can go through, so tasks, custom search, quick ads, phone calls, etc. So you do have arrows left and right to see all the different standard content available for this role. The report snapshots, again, just roll your mouse over it and it'll tell you what to do. So it's a built-in report in a graph or list format, and you can just, again, drag the portlet down into the middle of the screen, and I will do this for you in a couple of the other roles as well. Trend graphs, exactly what they say. So it shows me key performance indicators on a time basis, daily, weekly, monthly, etc. Again, click and drag it to drop it onto your dashboard. And the last personalisation area is what is currently used. So it's actually telling me on this particular dashboard for the CEO, there's not a lot that I need to see, so therefore it's a fairly uncluttered dashboard. Best practice with dashboards, don't have things on there that you won't use a lot. You might as well just leave them here in your reports menus, or even over here in your shortcuts menus. But if there are things that you would like to see every day when you log into JCurve, put it here on your dashboard and it's there for you. Okay, so as we can see with this one, fairly straightforward. Again, if there are some things that you don't use a lot, so for instance I may not use this settings portlet very much at all, you can just double click on it and on the heading and it actually will close it. It doesn't take it away, but it allows you to actually close it. If you do or don't use your quick search, again you can close it. So you end up with a much cleaner screen. So dashboards, keep them clean, keep them relevant. Only put things here that you really want to see. All right, let's go to our CFO role. Just click on the drop-down menu and choose the CFO role. Okay, this one looks different to the CEO role. That's because we've got obviously different information that the CFO or chief accountant or financial controller of the business would want to see. Again, fairly standard with the dashboards to have a calendar here. Helps with time management, helps you to see what's going on with your day, your week, even by agenda. Okay, so you can see the things that are coming up for you. Now, if you are a calendar user, a lot of people won't be using the calendar within JCurve. You may be using Outlook calendars or Gmail calendars or a range of other options. But if you do decide to use the calendar within JCurve, it does give you some fairly good management over your time and what's going on within the software, and links it back to information within the software for you too. We've then got, in this CFO role, we've got reminders, and obviously this sort of role we're wanting to look at numbers. So we're looking at the top 5 items sold. Again, you've got drop-down menus within the portlet, so we can change this fiscal quarter, this month, last month. If you wanted to get there quickly, you can just type in the word itself and it'll come up with suggestions for you. So sales by items, the KPI indicators for this role include obviously profit, sales, bank balances, payables, receivables, etc. Shortcuts, again, you can have this sitting in your dashboard. Alternatively, you can close that portlet and just have it here available to you in the drop-down list. If you want to get rid of it, just remove. Profits by trend. Now, with your graphs within your dashboards, you can view them in various ways. So this one we've got as columns, you can have line graphs, etc. So various ways of viewing them. However, to actually set up the chart, if you go into setup, this gives you the default chart type. So if you're a column person, come into the actual setup of this portlet when you're working with charts and say, I really want to see it as columns, or I really want to see it as an area chart, and that's the way that it will launch every day when you open up your dashboard. So let's say we change this to an area chart. Okay, so you just get a different way of viewing it. All of us like to view our dashboards differently. Set it up the way that you would like to see it. All just done here through the right-hand side. Notice also when you've got charts here, you can download them as documents to work with outside of the software. So you can have them styled different ways depending on what you're looking at. So for the CFO, again, he or she may want to track monthly sales, monthly profits, top items sold. So obviously this will be a lot more relevant when you're working on live data. So if we type in last fiscal half, we might get some more data. There we go. Tells us we've actually made some sales. All right, so do I want to, is this the way that it's going to work for me? Being a numbers person, so I'm in the CFO role, I might want to actually change this up a little bit and say I would prefer to change my layout to actually give me 3 columns because I like to see lots of data. It'll just take JCurve a minute to reset that. There we go. And now I might like to add a few more portlets. So for instance, I might like to see a KPI meter. Whoops. So I'm just going to grab one, drag it down onto the screen. Here we go, and there's my profit meter. Again, remember, there's often quite a lot of information available for you here, so you can change this up, or you might want to see both. That's why you've got the option to have a number of KPI meters showing on your screen. Did that one happen? Try that again. Profit. So you might want to have one showing for profit, you might have one showing for sales, and again you can drag them in and out of the columns depending on where you'd like to fit them. You might want them on the left or the right, and you can move them up and down. All right, report snapshots, same thing, drag it into your screen. My right hand column doesn't want to work today, so I'll put it down into the middle column here. It will take a guess at what it is you are wanting to look at, but again you've got the setup ability here, and you can change the options of what it is that you're looking at with your report. So comparative sales, customers, customers by profitability, that sort of information. As I said earlier, just download them, put them onto your screen, go to the setup area and have a look at the different things that you can use these different portlets for. This one I'd prefer to see maybe this way. Okay, same with your trend graphs. Now you can see we've already got a couple of those showing here in my dashboard. If I decide that I don't want to see them, again I can either minimise them or I can simply remove them altogether. And the currently used menu shows us what I'm actually looking at in this role. So the CFO role, who works with the CFO, is an accountant. So if he or she may also have the accountant role, may also have accounts payable, accounts receivable roles, might have access to a lot of those. Now, if you do find on any given day of the week that you come in and launch your JCurve and you've got this information here, which is simply telling us new information about our software, it will appear on your screens. You can, of course, obviously read it, have a look through the new information, and then simply say remove, and it disappears from your screen. So you don't have to, I have actually worked with a lot of clients where I'll go in and they'll have that sitting on their screen. You don't need to leave it there. You can simply click on remove, take it away, and go back to the dashboard that works well for you. So I've now gone into the accountant's role. You can see again similar sort of information but a different screen. Now, one of the benefits of dashboards within JCurve is when you're actually having the dashboard set up and having your JCurve implemented by your administrator, if you've got a large team, let's say you've got a large sales team or a large accounts team, you can have the administrator personalise the dashboards for the whole group, which means that every sales rep, for instance, who logs into their sales rep dashboard gets exactly the same information. Now, this tends to work very well, particularly for companies who have not been, who are new to JCurve, or perhaps if new staff members come on board. If you've got a number of different sales reps and all of their screens look the same, it makes it a lot easier for everybody to start to learn the software, learn their way around, learn what they can have available for them through their dashboards. And that's set up at the administration level when JCurve is implemented. It also allows the administrator to do bulk changes to people's dashboards. So again, if you've got large teams using this software and you want to do a bulk change across the account staff, they all get changed together, training can be done, and everybody again becomes familiar with what's available for them on their dashboards. So another dashboard I wanted to have a look today for you was the sales roles. So let's have a look at our demo sales manager and see what sort of dashboards, portlets he or she may have on their dashboard. Notice here I have done a colour change. So I've gone from accounting roles to a sales role. My screen's now red. Again, just done through the preferences and changing the appearance. So this immediately tells me I've gone out of accounting roles into sales roles. What sort of portlets might the sales manager like to see? New leads is probably high on his or her list because obviously they want to see how the business is performing, what sort of leads are coming in, and how they're being managed by the team. Over here on the left-hand side, in this column we've got the reminders portlets. Again, you can set this up, you can add standard reminders. Just take a sec for that to load. There we go. So you can say, show me sales orders or tasks that are due or calls to complete today. if something that you want is not there, here's a whole other list of reminders that you can add. Okay, tell me if there's any invoices to print. That's probably not appropriate to this role, but maybe there might be invoices overdue. And done. Now, if there are any invoices that are overdue, it will show up here. Notice also you've got the ability to add custom reminders. Okay, the lists are quite long in some of these roles, but run through them. Have a look if there's something there that is relevant to your role and data that you'd like to see on a daily basis. Choose it and add it to your lists. Okay, and then save. All right. Now, notice that there were 5 or 6 or 7 reminders in that list, but I've only got 4 showing. That's because it's only these 4 that actually have data attached to them. The other reminders in the list had nothing outstanding, so they won't show. So obviously in a sales manager role, this is telling me that I've got 93 opportunities that either myself has to attend to or my sales team has to attend to. By clicking on that information, it takes you through to the report. There we go, and you can actually see what's happening, what sort of level they're up to in their opportunity status, purchased, buying, identified, etc. To go back, we just go back or via the back menu or again via the dashboard icon. So opportunities, calls to complete, sales orders to approve are shown there. Again, if you'd rather have your calendar at the top, reminders at the bottom, click and just drag them around. KPI meters, so for a sales manager, he'd like to see his open quotes. He might also like to see what his current pipeline looks like, what's in the system, what's coming up. So there we go, 500 deals in the pipeline that he or she can then talk to the team about. So notice here I've got a couple of KPI meters in this role because I want to know what's happening with my open opportunities. Who am I talking to? Who needs to be followed up today? We've also got things like recent records. This is actually quite a handy thing to have on your dashboard regardless of your role because there's often quite a lot of records that you would work on a daily or weekly basis that you go in and out of. So let's say I'm in a sales role and we're currently working on a big quote for this customer. By having this recent records portlet sitting here, it allows me to go in and out of this customer without having to go up the top each time and say, find me the Australian Institute of Sport, etc. So recent records is quite handy. Again, it's just a portlet, so you can edit it. You can close it up and open it when you need to. And quickly gets you in and out of various places that you'd like to be to, records that you work on a regular basis. Here we go, takes us straight into the customer record. Okay, here we've got top 5 items by quantity sold. Obviously this date is not relevant. If we change it, we should probably get, let's see if we can actually get some information, fiscal year to date. There we go. So again, everything depends upon the dates that you're looking at. Settings for personalising and quick searches. These are quite handy if you're working in a particular role. So say for instance, I want to look quickly for a customer. Instead of doing a global search up the top here that looks for a name or a word across all areas, I can do a quick search for customers and it takes me directly to the customers who have the word sport in their names. So again, a very handy tool to have here. If you go in and out of customer records a lot, you might want to move that quick search up a bit further, or you might want to create a third column here and put it over on the right-hand side. Tasks, what else have we got here? So tasks are a tool that's very handy for managers and teams working together to actually assign tasks to each other and then keep track of whether or not they have been completed. So this one here is, these tasks are just for this manager themselves and tasks that they need to complete, but it also allows you to see tasks that are due and ready to be done for other staff members that you've assigned tasks to as well. monthly sales trends, KPIs. Again, we can either view them individually, so you might want to say, show me the new leads this month to date, or you can click on this period for your KPIs, and this works across any of your KPI information. Down here on the bottom left-hand side, I can say, show me the fiscal year before last. Okay, so we can actually click through on those KPI meters or KPI lists, and it will give us information dependent on the dates. We can also set up these dates to say I always want to see my KPI. So here's your date ranges here. I want to see new leads this month to date, but I'd like to see open opportunities, and you might want to say this rolling half or this rolling quarter. So again, you can customize each of those to be relevant to what you're working with and save. Okay, so you can see everything else is monthly, but this one we're looking at the quarter. And obviously in a live situation, we're going to have a lot more greens and arrows going up rather than lack of data due to this being a demo. All right, so there's our sales manager role. Let's have a look at the salesperson dashboard and see how that differs to what the sales manager can see. Now, when you're working within your dashboards, if you're thinking about what is it that I'd actually like to see on my dashboard, a good way to get some ideas is also to maybe look at the reports that become available to you under your role. So here in the salesperson role, I can go to these sales reports and say, oh, I can see by customer, by item, by sales rep. Again, this will be dependent upon how it's set up for you. I can see information by sales orders by customers. I can have a look at my forecast and it will show me. So often what I do when I'm thinking about how do I want to set this dashboard up, what sort of information do I want to see, I'll go into the reports that are a standard under that role and say, okay, that's what I'd like to see. And then I can put it into the portlets that I see on my dashboard. This dashboard, you'll notice again, is slightly different to the sales manager. Number one, the colour is different. Number two, this salesperson role has got 3 columns, so the major column in the middle and 2 on each side. This allows your salespeople to see the sales orders portlet or the sales order KPI meter here. Opportunities and sales metrics are showing here. Over here is the calendar and the quick search. Again, how do I want it to look? How am I going to have it showing on my screen? What are the things that are important for me to see? So the salesperson role, again, how do we add more? We just go personalise. Show me what I can put in here, so login audits, phone calls. So maybe as a salesperson, this would be an important one for you. So we might put phone calls over here, and it's saying, these are the phone calls that I need to make. Obviously, these are a little bit out of date, but that's all right. The information is relevant today, and who do I need to talk to and why do I need to talk to them? So call to take an order, call a meeting, call to follow up an opportunity, call to do a quote. So phone calls might be something, as I say, relevant in a salesperson role. And again, currently used just shows us there what we've got available. And I can see my forecast for this month and what my quota is when this data is live. Again, you might want to change your calendar to an agenda or view it as a day, a week or a monthly calendar to actually have information. And when you scroll over each of your days when it's gone to monthly, it'll show you what's coming up. So that's your salesperson role. Again, lots of good information for this sales role, reminders of things that this person has to do. Just scroll over it, click through, and away we go. And any time you can set it up, or if it's not relevant, you can simply remove it. Takes it away. So that's our salesperson role. Let's have a look at the marketing role. So I'm going to go to the marketing manager role. What sort of KPIs might a marketing manager want to look at? What sort of portlets might they have on their screen? There we go. Again, a calendar and reminders are always a good thing to have. KPIs are sitting right at the top of the screen when they log in. But we've got different reports available for marketing. So we've got campaigns, we've got web orders, our marketing campaigns information is listed here in this portlet. And these have all just been dragged in, again, from the personalised menu. give me a KPI meter, put it on my screen, and allow me as a marketing manager to see a range of different things that are relevant to my role. Customer rates, a customer run list, etc. If you want to see it, drag it onto your screen, have it sitting there. If you don't want to see it, hide it, put it away. There we go. Again, we might want to, as I said earlier, you might want to have these pages color-coded. So because I've got red for sales and green for accounts, I've got blue for marketing, but you can change any of these to suit yourselves. So marketing manager roles, again, a different range of reports available for you. So we can see here return on investment, campaign analysis, what sort of response am I getting from my campaigns, and all of this information gives you an idea of the sort of portlets that you might want to see on your screen. So I tend to use that as a guide to go, what is it that I want to look at when I'm in this role? To close your menu, top right hand side, just close over there. So that's your marketing manager role. As you can see, it gives us quite a lot of information about and then shortcuts through to information that's important for marketing managers. Have I got any cart abandonment? Not a lot of information here. It's interesting with your KPI meters when you've set your criteria. It shows as red, and as you get closer to what you'd like to do, it starts to go green for you. So it works really well with the meters, particularly in sales roles. All right, the warehouse manager roles. Let's have a look at our warehouse manager. There we go, that's just loading up. So here are here's a dashboard that we have set up for our warehouse managers. Different information available from other roles in that a lot of it is involved around inventory and the type of items we're selling and how much we're selling, what sort of purchase orders we've got, etc. So the KPIs for this role that we've currently got available through our KPI indicator is inventory, back orders, lead times, open POs, orders to fulfill, etc. I've got a KPI meter that I've loaded onto the screen here. I just dragged it on and said I'd like to see my turnover, but you also might like to see how long have I had my inventory on hand if you're a warehouse manager. Give me some idea about back orders and what we've got on back orders, and this is telling me, okay, there's quite a few in this system. I probably need to find out what's going on, where's the stock, when are we going to be able to fulfill these back orders. The reminders that you've got under the warehouse manager role are related obviously to the management of your stock and your inventory. So what needs fulfilling, what POs need to be printed. Again, just what tasks do I have to complete? Do I need to make any calls, and are there any calls that are overdue? For the reporting side of thing, we've got quite a lot of management of our orders, and obviously inventory items not available in other roles. So what are the profitability, what's our current status? And you can go to these reports here through the shortcuts menu, click on it, takes you straight in. Remember when you're working with large inventory lists, some of these reports can take a long time to load. So if you are dealing with inventory where there's hundreds or perhaps even thousands of stock, you can ask for a report and then click on the alert me when ready. It'll take you out of the screen and bring you back to it when the report's ready. Here we go. All right, so what sort of personalisation might you want to have? Again, you'll be very used to these portlets that are available for me in this area. Recent snapshots, report snapshots, drag it down, let's see what options we've got. Okay, comparative sales. We might also want to look at what are our open POs, what are our back orders, etc. Give me my current stock. Now, if you wanted to look at a lot of your KPIs, I'm just going to click this and drag it up the top because this is quite important to me as the warehouse manager. So if you wanted to have a look at your information on a basis where everything is comparative, all of your different KPIs, you can do it through your date settings here, and you can actually make a global change if you wanted to. So you can say, I'd like to see this month versus last month, this week versus last week, etc. And that will change the details for all of your different There we go. So that gives me this month versus last month for the reports or the KPIs that are relevant. Obviously, we can't do that for back orders, but your open POs and your orders to fulfill will then give you a global change to all of your reporting. Nothing much happening in this little demo account. But that allows you to quickly and easily change all your KPIs to work the same way. All right. And our warehouse manager, and finally for our support manager. Let's go to our support manager role. Again, we've got release information here that automatically appears when new releases are due of the software. We're just going to say remove that from my screen. There we go. And support manager obviously works around a lot of cases. What are we dealing with our customers, what's opened, tell me about my cases. So some of the reports that we have available here, or the portlets that we've dragged in, obviously key performance indicators in the support role. Give me my new cases, tell me what's been closed, what's currently open, what needed to be escalated. And all of these are just exactly the same as they are in any other area. You just choose your standard KPI information, meters or scorecards, drag them down, and they will give you the information that's relevant to your role. So here we go. We've got one here. Let's get it set up. So you can either do it set up from here or set up from the menu on the right-hand side. And I might want to find out about shipment delivery so I can see what's happening when stock's coming in that I'm waiting on to be able to perhaps provide customer replacements of stock, that sort of information. So again, just gives you data that's relevant to your role. If you go, no, that wasn't what I'm looking for, it's not really important, and I certainly don't need to see it on a regular basis, we just go remove the portlet, remove the information. Same with my trend graphs, grab them, drag them down into your screen and go to the right-hand side to set them up. New cases, save. Okay, so we can see in any way. So all of us work differently. You might be someone who likes to look at graphs. You might be someone who likes to look at meters. You might be someone who likes to look at reports and numbers. The dashboard personalization tools allow you to view your dashboard in the way that suits you. And as I said, you may or may not want to have them showing on the screen, or you can click on the heading and have them reduced and just have them open when you want to see them. Or you might say, I just don't want to see these tasks at all. Remove it from my list. It's not something that I want to see on a regular basis, but it is available to you obviously through your dashboard, and or you can at any time drag it back on if it's something that you want to see. So I think I guess what I wanted to show you today was the fact that regardless of the role that you're in, you've got the ability to set your dashboard up in a way that suits you, and the way that you like to work, and the way that you, the different information that you like to see. And it's all just done through your personalised area, looking at your different portlets, choosing ones that are going to be important to you, dragging them down into your screen, and then setting them up so that they show you the information the way that you'd like to see it, with the data of when you'd like to see it. So dashboards, once you know your way around, are actually a very useful tool, very easy to set up, very easy to manage, and certainly allow you to see important data on a daily basis when you log into your JCurve software. So thank you for your time today. My apologies for the technical issues earlier on, but I hope that you've you're feeling now a lot more comfortable about your dashboards, about the fact that you can use your portlets, drag them in, add them to your screens and work with them the way that suits you depending on your role, and that you will go after this webinar and have a bit of a play on your dashboard and have it set up and working really well for you, because it can make a great difference to your daily workload. And thank you everyone. I'm now going to hand back over to Mark.
Thank you for joining us today for a walkthrough of the different types of dashboards you can set up to see most of your real-time data and know your business better. If you still need some more help, head over to support.jcurve.com.au, which contains our knowledge base. You can also log a ticket there for further help. Our consulting team is also available for dedicated blocks of training and can also manage the setup for you. Don't forget to connect with us on social channels. We're always updating them with helpful business tips and information. Our blog is also a great source for information, which is updated weekly. Thank you for joining us today. We hope to see you in a future webinar.